Hi, today we're going to show you four of our favorite photographs from Kyoto.
And we'll tell you why we chose these photographs and some of the post processing we did in order to come up with the final image. The first photograph we're going to show you is a photograph of Maiko, or a geisha in training.
That's right, you took that image at the Kyoto Municipal Museum of Art,
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
Yes.
And you could get in there for free, by the way. And what I like about this image is really the simplicity of the image. It's very much in line with my approach of in contemplative photography of simplifying things. And in this image, the subject is very well defined. There's not a lot of clutter around the image itself, and the color is just beautiful in the way that it blends in the golden color of the wall and the floor blends in beautifully with the green
Yeah,
kimono.
yeah, that beautiful green, it's a beautiful color for sure.
And the other thing I like about this photograph is the fact that it's only showing a part of the Maiko's feet. It's actually just showing the toes, and it gives a little bit of an air of mystery in a way
Yeah,
that
it's kind of interesting.
yeah, it kind of makes you wonder what her
What her
face looks
face
like, right?
looks like, yeah. And I think the fact that you only captured this portion and we don't see her face, I think that gives us a chance to really focus on the kimono and that detail.
And
And I
there's
agree. I think the fact that we just see her toes is very intriguing.
Yeah,
It's
and there's a lot of details in there. Like those kimonos are just beautiful and
very intricate.
intricately made. Yes,
That's right. It was a wonderful surprise, wasn't it? Because we had not expected to see this Mako presentation. We arrived at this museum and we went in for free, as Henry said. And we stumbled on this presentation. We photographed for well over an hour. I had a great time, and we came out with several good photographs. This is definitely an amazing image, and I love the composition and the simplicity of it, and the toes. Love the toes.
yes, I love this image too. Yeah.
The second image that we're going to show you is one of my images, and it's one that was taken the same afternoon actually at the Heian Shrine, which is very close to the Kyoto Municipal Museum of Art. I often like to photograph architectural details, so that's what I was doing. And I saw from the corner of my eye um, this woman who was walking in the direction of one of the buildings I was photographing.
Yeah, I like the fact that you added the human element, and although it is an architectural photograph, I like the fact that you added her in the image. It made it a lot more interesting, I
That's
think.
right. I knew when I saw her coming forward that I had to catch her just at the right time, just in the right spot in the frame. So I really didn't have a lot of time to even check my camera, make sure my settings were okay. I just had to hope for the best. I swung around, framed the image, and I clicked as soon as she was in the right spot. And I'm very happy with how
Yeah,
that
she was
worked
a
out.
gift. She was a
She
gift.
definitely
Yeah.
she was definitely a gift. And sometimes I think that's one of the things that we've learned to develop is to be on the lookout for these gifts and to be just prepared to catch them when they come. So she was definitely a gift to us. I love the way that the fact that she's moving so quickly, her skirt is moving in the wind, and it really gives a sense of purpose.
Yeah, it really gives you a sense of motion as well.
Yeah, exactly. This was such a favorite image of ours that it ended up on the cover of our photography of our photo book for Kyoto.
One thing you'll notice when you're in Japan, and in Kyoto in particular, is that they paint the palaces, the shrines, and temples in the vermilion color. And vermilion is apparently a color that they use to ward off evil spirits.
Fun fact.
Now you know.
Now we know. Now your turn. What's your next photograph?
The next photograph I'm going to show you is a photograph of a curtain or noren in Kyoto. And you'll find these norens all over the place, in front of restaurants, in front of businesses, in front of stores, and they're of different colors, different sizes. And they're actually used to protect the inside from the sun and the wind. And this image in particular, I really like, because of the contrast between the black building and the purple color of the
That's
noren.
right, beautiful purple color. And there were really very few black buildings. This was a bit of a standout
That's right.
as far as
yes,
what we saw.
that's correct.
And you photographed many of these norens. Didn't you you did a series of norens?
I did. I think when we travel, I find that if you get to a place, to a foreign place, to a new culture, you'll find a little bit overwhelmed and not really knowing what to photograph. So I tend to focus. I find that if I do a series, it gives me a sense of focus. And if you are a starting or beginner photographer, it's good to photograph a series or a project so that you could start building your portfolio.
That's right. That's right. That's something that I'm still working on. I'm not very good at doing series, but I'm still working on that skill.
Yeah.
I love this image, and I love that you did a series on the norens. I think this is a good example of how sometimes working in a series helps you not only improve your photography skills, but also it gets you to see a place a little bit deeper and learn a little bit more about it. We had no idea what these were when you started photographing them, and it's once Henry got into it, we did a little research and we discovered what they were. So it's a good way to learn about a place you're visiting.
Absolutely.
If you would like to see the series of Henry's norens, you can see it on our website in one of the Kyoto galleries at henryandlorraine.com.
Great. So the next image?
The next image is one of mine, and it's one that I took at a shopping center near the Airbnb where we stayed.
Yeah, I remember it was a rainy day that day.
It was a rainy day, so we sought refuge in one of the shopping centers, and it's always interesting to photograph. Again, we took lots of great pictures that day. I spotted this woman who was holding an umbrella, and she was through a passageway surrounded by these paper lanterns. So I just very quickly had to frame it and capture the image. It was another one of those examples where you have to react very quickly. She was only there for a moment, and just a few seconds later she just came through the passageway. The image would not have been the same.
No, and there are a lot of interesting things in this image. There's lots of patterns in the photograph itself, but one thing in particular that I really like is that if you notice the picket fence, the red fence on both sides of the photograph, and the red jacket that the woman was wearing in the middle, it forms a nice triangle that's really interesting when you're doing when you're doing your composition.
Yeah, this although I took it very quickly, the composition here was very deliberate. It's very symmetrical, so that's one of the aspects that I really like about the image. And also the multiple frames. If you look at the paper lanterns and the two white signs on the side, and then the doorway on the other side of the passage, there's several layers of frames that lead the eye toward this woman with her umbrella. And the fact that she was wearing a red coat was really yet another gift. The image would just not be the same if she was wearing a coat of a different color.
That's right, and it's a little bit different from my approach of photography, where I tend to simplify things. This one, there's a lot of things happening in there, but it was beautifully framed and beautifully composed that it really works.
I think it's still pretty simple.
It is. Oh, fine then.
But the other thing that I like is that it's very monochromatic. And the only real accent color here is red. And the fact that we have the Japanese script on the lanterns and the signs is really tells us about where we are without being too explicit about it. You don't have to explain a lot about this image.
Good.
And there you have it, 4 of our favorite photographs from Kyoto.
Yeah, it was tough narrowing it down to 4 photographs, right? I mean, we were there for a week and we had hundreds of photographs of Kyoto.
That's right.
And really, Kyoto is a photographer's paradise, isn't it?
It really is. It was lovely to photograph, so much to capture between the temples and Gion with all the women in kimonos, and it was really great. If you would like to see more of our photographs from Kyoto, visit the gallery on our website. And if you've been to Kyoto and photographed, we'd love to hear about where you enjoyed photographing and see some of your photographs. Share in the comments. And if you have questions or comments, please share with us.
Until next time.
Thank you for watching.